Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dirty Talks podcast presented by Whoop. I'm Maghalie, and on Dirty Talks, Lucinda and I take you deep into the muddy and beautiful world of cyclocross. We'll dive into our own race experiences, chat with the biggest names in cross, and we'll give you a peek inside the world of professional cyclocross racers. Basically, we're here to celebrate the sport we love with you all, and maybe even reveal a few dirty little secrets about what really happens out there on the field. Before we dive into today's episode, I'd like you to ask if you can please subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you listen, and join us each week on Dirty Talks. Welcome to today's show.
We are back home. Maghalie in snowy Canada and me in cozy Belgium, with thousands of kilometers and an ocean between us. The Christmas tree is up, but the relentless cyclocross season waits for no one. While everyone else was captivated by the iconic off-campus section in Namur, Maghalie was battling turbulence and a very bruised hand after a crash. As we recover from an unforgettable race weekend, it's time to gear up for what lies ahead. Not just an overstuffed Christmas dinner table, but the madness of cyclocross season in full swing. Every day brings a new race, new mud and new stories. And we can't wait to dive in with you.
Let's get dirty with Lucinda, Brand and Maghalie, Rochette.
So today, we are beyond excited to chat with one of the rising stars in the world of cyclocross. She's young, she's driven, and she's been climbing the ranks with incredible speed over the last few years. As the reigning cyclocross champion of Luxemburg and the queen of the starts, she's made her mark both on the road and on the dirt, racing with the powerhouse SD Worx Pro Time team. Today, we can't wait to get to know her story, her journey, and what's next for this phenomenal talent. Please welcome Marie Schreiber. Thanks for being here, Mary.
Thank you for the invite. Hello, everyone.
So, Lucinda, you were right. It is snowy here in Canada, and you are also right that it's been a turbulent last few days for me. But it looks like it's also been pretty busy weekend for the both of you. I'll be honest, I didn't have the courage. I was so heartbroken. It was hard for me to watch Namur, but I have still seen a lot of the highlights at what happened. So, I mean, let's dive into it. How was it, you guys?
I think the atmosphere was like always super cool, or not, Mary?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, the start for me already was like, whoa, what's happening? For me, this season so far, the best race with the crowd and everything. It was really nice. It was actually a bit hard to concentrate sometimes for me because it's close to home and there were so many people I knew and, you kind of need to stay in the focus. But yeah, it was super cool race. I think Lucinda can agree.
So basically the people who cheered you up, they also cheered you so far up that you had to put your mind back to the course some moments.
Yeah, I was a bit, not distracted, but also, you really realize that they're there. And maybe sometimes you even see people and you're like, okay, don't care now about who's there, just focus on your own race,
Yeah,
try not to make mistakes.
you even see people?
Yeah, I saw a couple of people.
Oh, wow.
I'm always in the race, but I really hear or see what's happening around me. Like also the commentator always. I find it quite nice because I know a bit what's happening in the race, or if someone's coming from behind. But yeah, I try to just, stay in my focus, not get too overexcited by the crowd and everything. But yeah, it was super cool.
Do you have a special trick for that, to stay there when you feel like you're starting to lose it?
Actually, when I feel good on the race day, I kind of get back to the focus automatically. Like I don't need to tell anything to myself. But if you're having a bad day, it's super dangerous to get lost a bit. But yeah, on Sunday I felt pretty good, so I always got back into the focus. I was basically dividing the course into parts, and then I like focusing on the next part, and that kind of helped.
Oh. That's a good trick.
I agree. It is a good trick. Like, I mean, it's it's easy for the mind to go sometimes, but if we bring it to something that our body is doing, just like, okay, this corner, look up, pressure on this pedal, pressure, like all these things, like these little things that we can control, suddenly it brings us back so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Things that
go
we can
with.
actually do.
I went like on the climb, the start climb, quite hard. I was like, after 2 laps, okay, 6 laps, like, okay, now I just need to do this 4 more times, or 3 more times, or 2 more times. And then I also think like this about the cobbled section or the off camber, and then at some point in the last lap, without realizing you are. So that quite helps me quite a lot actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Lucinda,
Actually, this sounds familiar for me. But yes,
yeah,
so
you
but
were you were killing it in the off camber section. I see. That's where you got
yeah,
up like most of your spots, right?
yeah, it is. Yeah, it was actually not really common for me maybe to be the best on a difficult part like that. But somehow I just found the line, and I did really overdo it in the reckon a few times to really find a good flow with it. And one of my coaches even went standing on the track, so on a point where I should not ride, so I had to get around him and to really get the feeling. So that was absolutely helping to also. And also when you make a mistake the first lap, then it stuck in your head. So it was really nice when once the first one is done, on a really high heartbeat, then to try to repeat every time the same trick, which is not really possible at all.
Yeah.
But Maghalie, maybe for some listeners, they didn't really know, like you planned to also do Namur. So maybe you can tell a little bit why you went home already.
Yeah, my plan was to do Namur and then go home the next day. So, like, initially my plan was to come for this 4 races block, which started in Dublin, then Cabras, then Herentals and Namur. And Namur was, like, maybe the highlight of the trip for me because I really, really loved this race. So I was really looking forward to it. And in Herentals, after the first lap, just as we were getting on the pavement, I passed someone just before turning on the pavement, and I got cut in the metal fence with my finger, and I crashed over. And I mean, initially, like, I got back, I stood up to get back on the bike, but my hand was like not working. Like, it was kind of super numb, and I didn't have the strength to hold to the handlebar. And so I pulled out because I said, like, there's something wrong, And the course in Herentals, it's pretty technical. You do need to be able to brake quite well, and you need to be able to hold it. And in my mind, like, Namur was the most important, so I thought, okay, like, maybe it's something that I can fix, for tomorrow.
No risk.
But it turned, yeah, exactly. And turns out, the finger got blue and double the size, like, instantly. And so, yeah, I was pretty devastated, to be honest. And then I waited a few hours to see what would happen, but I just didn't have the strength I couldn't really move it, and I didn't have the strength to hold on to anything. And so I made the call to, unfortunately, not race Namur because didn't feel safe safe for me or for anyone else, to be honest. Like, for me to be on the course with a hand that's not working, like,
on this course it's impossible.
Exactly. And, like, you can be a danger to yourself, but also, like, to everybody else who's racing, and it didn't feel smart. And so, yeah, unfortunately I went back home. So, to be honest, like, it was a trip of a disaster of a trip.
A big bummer.
Ended up
Yes.
coming for 3 weeks and only raced Dublin. So, coming all the way to Europe, and this was, like, the focus of my season. So, like, training camps before that, and then coming here in the goal of, like, really performing. So I actually didn't even train that much in Cabras because I was trying to rest for the events. So basically, I feel like I came to Europe to detrain for 3 weeks and then I went home. So it really kind of sucked. Like,
it's really shit. Yeah. It's a
really,
it's a
really
huge
sad.
bummer, and we only can say it can get worse.
Yeah, exactly.
But
exactly.
yes. No, it's normal that you was looking for much more than this to come all the way to Europe, of course.
Yeah. So now it's now that I'm back home, like, a few days removed from it, I can see that, like, okay, like, when you take a step back, like, in first, like, you're in it and you think, like, oh my God, like, it feels like the end of the world, and then you take a few steps back, and it's part of the risk that we take. We put everything into a goal, and sometimes like it doesn't work, and it is devastating, but also like injuries or whatever, like all these things happen. It just feels worse sometimes when you're in it, but if you can take a few steps back, you can see like, okay, I'll see a path where I can come back. And now like the good news is it's not broken. It's feeling already much better. I can now be on the bike. So everything is going to go in the right direction. I just need to figure out a new plan of like, okay, now how do I realign my season? Because what I had planned did not work, so I just have to refigure what I want to do. And I'm in that process right now. So I still don't know exactly what the rest will look like for me. But that's...
But one thing for sure, you come back, right? But only the question mark when.
Exactly.
Okay,
and
good.
Because I was thinking, like, part of me is like, okay, like if I can hold to the bike now, like I can go soon.
Come back.
But also it's like balancing, like I just came back from, you know how it is traveling like back and forth is doable, but it also takes energy. And as I said, I feel like I just detrained. So now I'm like, okay, I need to retrain before I go. So yeah, I'm just figuring that out, but I will for sure go back. Like, I mean, of course I don't want to end the season like that. And there's still so much racing coming up. So I will come back. I don't know exactly when yet.
You will find some nice races to come back, I'm sure.
Yeah.
With a good plan. But Marie, you decide to not race here in Tals. You did a trains camp. So you wasn't afraid to just go straight from training into one of the hardest races of the season?
Well, I was a bit nervous before, but I did the same last year. So I was like, either it goes well or it goes shit, but I take the risk.
The year before was good.
Yeah, the year before it was good, so I was like, maybe it can be good again this year. But I knew kind of the shape was there, but I was like, maybe just the feeling isn't going to be that nice. But yeah, if you have a good shape and less good feeling, I mean, on a course like Namur, it's super hard, but it could still work. Luckily, the feeling was good, so that was nice. But yeah, I decided after Dublin to not race in Sardinia because we had team building and team camp. Team building
in the snow, right?
Yeah, we went
team
to
building.
Lapland. Yeah, we went to Finland. It was super
beautiful.
Nice. It wasn't mandatory for me, but I was like, I kind of want to go because it was a big dream of mine to actually go to Lapland once.
Yeah, I can imagine. I probably would have made the same decision, maybe.
Yeah, and it was only 3 days. I was like, yeah, I can take these off training. And also for me, the team building was quite important to get to know the new girls and everything. So yeah, I was there for the weekend, and then we went to Spain straight to training camp, where I had a pretty solid week. So yeah, actually, I was nervous for the race, but I also felt a bit confident because my feeling during the week doing training was quite good. So I was like, yeah, I mean, either it goes well or it doesn't go well, but it doesn't matter. Like, I just want to have fun and see what happens. Yeah, it turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
And as you said, like, this race is close to your home, so did it hold like a special place because of that? Like, does this race is this race special to you because it's close to home?
Yes, because it's close to home, because there's so many people that I know, but also I just like the race. Like, even if it was further away, for me, it's just a really nice race. And I think it was even like when I was junior, like first year, it was my first ever World Cup. I think I got lapped after like 2.5 laps, but doesn't matter. I have good memories actually from this race. I've always done well, and I've never been that unlucky with punctures. So for me, yeah, it's a nice race. And I had like a bus full of people from home who came to watch. It was like at least 60 people from home who were there.
Maghalie, did you ever had that?
No,
a bus of people?
I mean,
me neither.
No. You either? Really?
It is really cool. No, not that I know. No, this is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So is cyclocross like super big in Luxembourg? Like, are you do people kind of recognize you in the street? Like, how is it over there? Just because, I mean, a bus of people seems like a big deal.
I mean, it's not that big, but I know I have a fan club, and they have a lot of members now. I think 250 or something even. Wow. And then they kind of organized the trip to get there. I mean, like in the cycling world in Luxembourg, if it's like cross or world or whatever, everyone knows me by now. but I wouldn't say I get recognized. Some people sometimes when I go to the shop, they know me or they say hello to me, and I'm like, I don't know who you are, but I'm just gonna say hello back. So yeah, I think people know me by now, but I mean, it's super cool, obviously, to have so many people come and watch. I try not to take it too much as pressure. I think now I'm okay with it, but I remember the Worlds in February last year or this year. There was also quite a lot of people there, and I was a bit new to the situation where you're like where you have a bit of pressure from yourself and from the outside. And there it was actually a bit too much because I was like, yeah, I need to perform not only for myself, but like there's so many people looking down on me, or like not looking down, but like watching what I'm doing. I was like, I need to perform. But now I can kind of just ignore that, and I take it as a motivation when they're there, because I'm like, yeah, it's their choice to come and watch me. Whether I perform or I don't perform, it's their choice. But it can be extra motivation if they're there to do well and to enjoy.
Yeah, that's awesome. We have a lot of questions for you, Mary, and we want to dive deep into that. Like, we want to get to know you, and like, there's a lot that we want to say. But first, before we do that, this podcast is presented by Whoop, and we have this section called the Recovery Zone, where we like to talk a little bit about the recovery of the weekend and how everybody's feeling, and just, talk a little bit about that. So my first question is, how have you guys recovered from this? And after that, Lucinda, it's been a month now, about a month that you're using Whoop. So I'd be curious to hear, like, how that's been for you. Like, what have you learned, and what is your learning curve with wearing that?
So, Mary, you can kick off. How did you recover, or what did you do to recover?
I had a long sleep. That's what I usually do to recover. Actually,
How
I
long
recovered.
is that then for you?
I think I had 9 hours 40,
Wow.
Pretty good.
which is not the longest, but I sleep
jealous.
like 9 hours on average. So yeah, I'm a good sleeper. But no, yeah, just a long night of sleep and an easy day on Monday. I actually felt better than I thought I would feel. A bit of soreness in my legs because I also hit the pedal against my knee, so I could feel that a bit. But yeah, I just had actually an easy recovery while on Monday, and I feel like I always recover quite fast after cross races. So yeah, didn't do much, and then it helped. And then yesterday some cross training again, and I felt pretty good there. So I think I'm well recovered.
Young legs, I hear it.
Young legs and
What
young
about
minds,
you?
yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Lucinda? Because you had double weekend. That sometimes
Yeah.
the double hit harder.
It does, but on Monday I felt pretty good. Besides my back, but my back is everyday problem right now, so and that's nothing new at the moment. And actually, yeah, I felt good, energized, but yeah, because of the double weekend, we still planned like a recovery day, and so I used my energy a bit in the house, and yeah, then on Tuesday I actually felt pretty shit waking up. My both sleeps were actually more or less same, like in hours, but it's actually something that I have a lot, that the second day after a race is less good than the first day. And when you asked about what I saw like in this month or what I learned, so I could see also that my recovery in the Tuesday was less than on the Monday. So that's something interesting. And of course, yeah, then after it went up again. So this is, the Whoop top, that my feeling was the same more or less there. And harder than that, it really can see that it really needs data. So now I start to see a little bit more and more. It also tells me more and more like things that I made in the diary that they can tell, like, massage really helps, or it doesn't help you to eat super late before dinner, or like for example on the cross race I take a lot of caffeine. That does not help me. But of course with the caffeine I knew it's not a surprise at all, but like all those boxes, they slowly start to really give some information, so that's nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, like, I think it takes more, like, the more we wear it, the more precise and the more information we can get out of it. I'm the same as you normally. The Monday, so the day after the races, I feel okay. And so I kind of change, like I do easy ride on a Monday, but then on the Tuesdays, if I am going to take a recovery day, it will be on the Tuesday usually, because that's when I'm more tired and then can get back
Yeah.
to more training.
I also
after,
push a
so
lot of
I'm
times
similar.
to have a endurance ride on the Monday, so to have
Yeah,
a bit more
exactly.
quality on the good days.
Yeah, I'm the same. Cool. Well,
Yeah.
I think it's time. I mean,
It's
I
time.
could tell you about my recovery, but no one cares because I didn't rest.
Your finger is less thick, I hear, right? So the finger is
my
recovering.
Finger is recovering. I mean, of course, like coming off of the plane, I was a bit draggy, but at the same time, that's just to be expected, and I already feel better. So, yeah, ready to get back on the bike, hopefully,
Good.
soon. All right, Mary,
So,
are you ready? Because
finally.
we got a lot for you.
I am ready. I was born ready.
It feels like that because with your starts, I mean, we just throw it
Exactly.
in straight away. She is born ready. You're really
She is.
flying away in the starts.
Yeah.
How do you
Should
do
we
that?
start with that? Exactly.
Yeah.
Should we start with that? Like,
How do I
is
do
that?
that? Can I ask a question in return?
Yeah, no
How
problem.
are you so strong in the last laps? I was thinking yesterday on the start, if we combine my start with your second part of the race,
Then the race is boring.
but
Yeah.
I don't know how I do it. I used to be super shit in starts, believe it or not, but
Really?
yeah, when I was like second year junior, first year under 23, of course I was always starting in the back, but I was shit on starts, and I was like, okay, I need to change this. And then I
But
practiced a bit.
what was shit in it? Was it that you couldn't reach your pedal, or because you
No,
are
the
explosive?
pedal, yeah, the pedal I could read, but maybe it was because I was stuck behind people. I'm not too sure, but I never had like a good start, and I was always stuck in all the mess in the beginning. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, if you start on third or fourth row, it doesn't make it easier. But I also never felt, sometimes you can even have a good start even if you're not first. And I didn't feel happy about, I don't know, the first minute of the race. I was like, I'm just not good. And then I started to train it. I also started to do gym because, when I was younger, when I was a junior, I didn't really do gym. So I think that helped also to get a bit more explosive. And then I remember, I think it was in 22, I did Ostmalle and St. Nicholas. I did these, it was after the Worlds in America. And then suddenly I got the whole shot on the two of the days, and I was like, whoa, what's happening? But there also, I just took this like start line and I went full sprint, and after 30 seconds I was completely done. But I was so hyped to get the halter. I was like, wow, I'm first once, I'm on TV and everything. And I was like, okay, but what's the point of like completely killing myself doing 20 seconds? And then I dropped back, and then I started to just do it, like try to not go too hard in the beginning, which then coming year I went super hard in the first lap, and then I always dropped back a bit. And I got a lot of people saying like, yeah, you go way too fast, which in the beginning was true. I got overexcited when I was on the front. But for me, I was like, I was like a small girl. I was like, wow, I'm racing here with like the best people. You get really overexcited, and then the more you do it, the more calm you get. So I used to start way too fast, like the first lap, but now I have it down to. I mean, I don't want to sound cocky or anything, but I'm not going 100% in the first lap. So
This
I
was
feel
what
like,
I was willing to ask. Like, if you plan, like on the way, like the courses and the other riders who are on the start line, if you like try to balance like how you start. I mean, I know that was Hamma. I think you said I will not do too hard, and you can take some seconds. I'm like, thank you. But I can imagine. Yeah, do you do that in every race that you really overthink it? Like.
I try to go first in the first corner always.
Okay.
And then see what happens. Because for me, it's super important to be out of all the mess in the first lap. Because I watched back the race now from Sunday, and I was like, well, there was so much happening behind, which I didn't realize. And I was like, it's good. I don't lose energy, like, because I'm gone, And I'm like, I'm going hard, but I still feel like I'm not completely on the limit after the first lap. And I actually never am. Like, you're up there, but it's a measured effort. And then it depends a bit on how the course is. Sometimes I want to go a bit faster in the first 2 minutes, if like technical sections coming up, like Antwerp, for example, for me, it was important to be, good off the start. Also now on Sunday, I was like, I want to be on top of the climb, like first. But it's a bit strange because like Merckxpress, for example, I was like, I had a gap after the start, I think. And I was like, but I'm really not pushing that hard. I was like, what's happening? And then the next day,
What do you
Hammer.
think? Losers behind here or what?
No, but I'm like, normally they are like at least in my wheel. And then on Hammer, the Sunday, I said to you in the start, and I'll take it easy in the first lap. But also, I didn't get the hold shot because I missed my pedal. And I think it was Zoe on the front. And for me, feeling wise, her first lap was a lot faster than what I would have gone if I was in the front. Maybe it was just because I didn't feel that good. But I was like, everyone says I do a fast start, but I was suffering on like 5th position in the first lap, and I was not in first place. So
But then, do you think that maybe because like being first, it gives you wings, like I feel like sometimes when you're in first place, like maybe you don't feel the effort as much as if you're like trying to follow someone and the pace seems imposed to you. Do you feel like maybe that could have happened like that day in Mama, or?
I think that also combined. I think that combined with my feeling was less good, so I felt like I was a lot more on the limit. But like you say, you get a bit wings, and you sometimes don't feel the effort, and that was actually still last year. A lot of the time, my mistakes, I was like, I felt like on in a different world. I was like, I can do this because the first 10 minutes everyone feels good. And then, I didn't feel my legs, and then sometimes it really hit me. So that was definitely the case last year, but now I feel like I have it a bit more in control. Obviously, I don't stay in the first position in the first lap. After after first lap, I kind of dropped down. But I believe, at least, even if I wouldn't start that fast, I would also kind of drop down a bit in the end. Like, even if I would start easier, I wouldn't have Lucinda's last laps. So... it's about
that's
but that's age.
But
so in 10 years we talk again.
Yes. Oh yeah, I would love to.
Okay.
And I think ultimately, like as you said, just having the fast start, even if you slow down afterwards, like you're out of trouble, and ultimately like it allows for a better result, even if like you slow down a little bit, just getting out of the trouble. Sometimes if you're having a bad start and you get stuck in the trouble, you just never get to see the front of the race. So I think like your strategy is smart, and like the more you practice it, I mean it's clear, like we've seen your progression. Like the more you practice that strategy, the longer you stay at the front. So it's been quite cool to see to see you progress so fast, actually.
But you do feel lactate in your legs, or you don't?
After the second lap, yes.
only after the second lap. Okay.
Yeah, after the first lap, not that much actually. On Sunday, I did because I was off the phone with Blanka, and because our tactic was to really do a good start, and then she takes over after the first lap, and it's like, we have a gap, we go, and she starts to pull, and I was like, okay, no, I'm not gonna follow because I could feel a bit. I was on the limit. It's like, second lap, if I keep this pace, then for sure I'm going to die. So like, just good first lap and then try not to feel the lactate too much. And then I just did my own pace because that, I think for Namur, that was important. Also when you passed me, Lucinda, I was like, no, I'm not even going to try now to follow because I will blow up so much. So I just took it as a TT. And
it is absolutely true. Like Namur is... a good start is very important, and then make it a TT. You really need to know your body and what you can do to try to balance it till the end. Yeah, more than in other courses sometimes, because the technique down is so hard, and it doesn't give you time to recover if you make a little sprint in between or something.
Yeah, I also feel like on other races sometimes you just need to like push a little bit to maybe try and stay in a group, or before a technical part or something like this. But for me, Namur, if you go over the limit once, then your race is kind of over because it's so demanding. Like yeah, like you say, you cannot really recover in the technical part, and then when you go up again, it's all out basically. So yeah, I was from the beginning on, I was like, I just do my own thing. I don't care about anyone around me because I don't want to like start super well and then blow up and then end like out of the top 10 or something like this.
You
Good
talked a little
tactic.
bit about Blanka. How is it being? I mean, it's kind of cool that there are two of you guys on the same team, like being at the cross races. Um, it like, do you often do team tactics like that? And also, like, how is the setup for SD Worx at the cyclocross races? Because it seems like you have a truck and a camper, and there's the two of you. And is everything kind of arranged for you guys like it is on the road, or are you responsible for making your own bookings and like just kind of arranging your own setup? How does it work?
Well, at the moment, we have the camper because the truck is broken. But the team kind of arranges everything. Just we need or can't, like, we don't really need to, but it's better to bring your own mechanic. So we have
Okay.
one mechanic from the team who does a bit of everything. And then Blanka and I, we both have our own mechanic. And then I have my own Swanee. My sister's my Swanee. And then depending on how the Swanees from the team are available, we also have a second Swanee from the team. But yeah, like now on the weekend, because everyone was on camp still, we basically only had our own people. But then we always have
Okay.
one DS there, and he arranges everything. So yeah, apart from bringing your mechanic, we don't need anything. The team
So
plans
the bikes
everything.
are also at the team.
Yeah,
They prepare during the week, and
yeah,
you just come there with your backpack and your shoes and your
exactly.
helmet,
Yeah,
and
it's
that's
pretty
it.
easy. I have a
Really
training bike
nice.
at home. I don't need to bring anything. Don't need to do booking for the hotel or anything. Like yeah, our DS does all of that. So yeah, I just need to get to the race or to the hotel or to the weekend, whatever. So yeah, I think our setup is pretty good. Like for me, it's nice to have like my own people as mechanic and Swanee because I feel like it causes a bit of a family business somehow. And if you're used to these, then yeah, it's nice to work with your own people and also for the team. Like yeah, we're not a cross team, so, I mean, it sounds a bit mean, but it's not number one priority. So it's also for me and her understandable that there's not like 10 mechanics at the race, you know?
No, yeah.
They put you one, and even if he's not there, we can still make it without him. So we know this, and also the team knows this. So I think it's actually a pretty good setup. And yeah, then on the race itself, for me, like the relationship with me and Blanka is super good. Like we get along really well, and I feel like we push each other. We never really have like team tactics in the race because yeah, some courses suit me better, other courses suit her better, and it's also not like my goal is not to beat Blanka. I mean, obviously, as a competitor, you want to beat everyone, but it's not like oh, I need to beat Blanka, or you know, after race, if I'm behind Blanka, then yeah, then I'm like, you did super well. And I'm not like, ah, shit, you know, I wanted to be in front of her. So I think we have a really healthy relationship as teammates. We're also good friends, so that's nice. And then, yeah, I think on the races, we help each other because I think we have a bit different strengths. And then if we, yeah, help each other a bit, we get better overall.
So you go do the reckon together also then, for example?
Yeah, we come together the day before the race, the weekend together, and then we have a hotel together. So yeah, we spend always basically from the day before the race to after the race together. Yeah, it's really nice. And then we just yeah do the recon and talk a bit about lines and everything because yeah we don't have a coach on the bike with us. Not like you have Sven, for example. So we kind of need to yeah go together and then be like, okay, what do
Is
you
that
think about this?
something,
Or
because last year Lars was there a lot
yeah,
and he changed team. Is that something that you miss? I mean, you still have a DS who prepares everything for you, but he was also able to tell your lines. Is that something that you miss now then? I saw
um,
Christine was there this
yeah.
weekend.
I mean, I don't want to sound mean towards anyone, but I feel like even this year without Lars, it works quite well because I think by now Blanca and I we experience enough to know which lines to take, and yeah, you see everyone else do recon, and you can just go over different lines a couple of times. So I think it works. I mean, yeah, it's always beneficial to have, I don't know, a 5-time world champion as a coach, but I think that's hard to have. But yeah, even like this, I think you can, yeah, you know which lines to take. And yeah, on the weekend now, Christine was there, so she did the weekend with us, which was nice. I think it adds to it, makes it maybe a bit easier, but I don't think it's crucial to be able to race well, you know, as long as you do your weekend well. And yeah, we do the two of us together because then we can go over it. And we always watch the race from last year. We watch it back the day before the race to analyze a bit. And then with our new DS, even though he's not that familiar with cyclocross, he tries to really, yeah, get into it, and then also he gives his input, and you know, we talk all the three of us together, and then I think it creates a nice environment, and also then we know what to do. Or yeah, we really have like meeting where we discuss, okay, we want to do it like this, or we want to do it like this. So I think we go into the race as well prepared.
It sounds like that.
Cool. Yeah, it sounds like it. It's cool. I mean, I always enjoy like doing the recon with someone else, because like it allows you to do like, okay, like you take this line, I take this one, or like you run this section and I'm gonna ride it, and then you can see like right away if like what's faster and what's not, you know. And then also like you can try to find places to pass, and if it's someone that's your level and that you respect a lot, just like, I mean, it seems like you and Blanka have a like great relationship when you're very much lifting each other up. And then you can like try to, okay, like what if I pass here, like, and you can try to be kind of a little bit aggressive, just like really kind of taking lines that could be harder but really work with each other. And I think that makes such a difference. You talked about Christine. So is she, for people listening, that's Christine Majerus, who was the champion of Luxembourg before, like a champion of cyclocross. Is she working with SD Worx now that she retired from riding for the team?
Not really, but like she's volunteering whenever she has time. She comes to help out. I think she's still discussing on what she's really gonna do. I don't think she has signed anything from, because it takes a while. Obviously, when you stop riding, you cannot just jump into something new straight away. So I know she's into discussions on what she's gonna do. And then she's just going to help out the team whenever she can. So she's not really working for the team, but just, yeah, helping. And she was there in Namur. She's going to be there on the 26th, I think, and also the 29th. So there's a couple of races that she's coming just to help. Yeah, it's nice for us because, yeah, we, like, everyone in the team was super close to Christine, and she was such a big help for everyone. And it just helps to, because yeah, she was good in course. She knows what she's talking about, but also just to have another teammate to kind of be there on the races is really nice. And for me, yeah, on the weekend it helped quite a lot.
That's cool.
And she is, also from Luxembourg. Is she someone that you have been really looking up to? And for me, it feels like she was really Luxembourg cycling, you know. So, and I'm really curious, how did you look up to her, and like how then maybe if you did, then suddenly you're teammates. So how was that?
I get this question a lot in the last 2 years.
I'm not surprised.
But it's true. Like when I was growing up, you know, Christine was the only one in Luxembourg, yeah, a small country, who was really there. And then, you know, yeah, when I was 10, you see a bit the bigger races, but you don't follow it that much. But then you kind of knew, okay, we have someone who is at the big races, and then you start to watch them more, like the big races, and you start to really get more into the cycling world. Because yeah, when I was 10, it was just about having fun, you know. It wasn't like, oh, I need to train or anything. I was just playing around on my bike. But then you get a bit into it because, you know, there was like one person from your country who's really good. And then I was always looking up to her because I was like, wow, she's in the best team of the world, you know, she's super good, which is not that common in our country. And then I remember when I was, I think, like 15, I got like the helmet from the team. They were called Bolsdomans back then. I had the helmet and I was like riding around. I was wearing it the whole day. Basically, I had a signature from Christine on it. I was so happy with it. And then if I think back now, like I don't know, 6, 7 years later, I'm teammate with her. I was teammate with her. I'm in the same team. Um, yeah, it was just nice to from looking up to her as a small kid because I was super small when she was racing really well to kind of making the step over the years and then as first year of a pro straight away be teammate with her, which like because she's the only Luxembourgish rider, and then also in the best team for me still if I think back is something really crazy. And just after I'm really grateful to everything she did for me, but also she did for the sport, like in Luxembourg, because she was really promoting it. And I think we wouldn't be at the same point as we are now without her. I think there's a lot of there's a couple of more girls now in Luxembourg my age who are starting to ride in the bunch now. Who I think at least it's all thanks to Christine because it always helps growing up to have someone to look up to. And she showed that, it's also possible for us because we're such a small country. Like, Nations Cup as a junior is not a regular thing. Like, I never got to do any of this. But then if you have someone, okay, she's there, then we can also make it, then it really helps. And I think now it shows that she was really inspiring a lot of young girls.
Yeah, shout out to Christine. She's always
Absolutely.
been one of my favorite too. She's always been such a champion and such a nice person. So it's cool to hear how she inspired you. And do you know, like, was she even part of when you signed with SD Worx? Like, was she part of that? I know when I signed my first pro contract for mountain bike, another Canadian was on the team, Catherine Pendrell, and she kind of vouched for me because I met her at the World Championships and we pre-rode together and we learned to do lines together. And I was pretty young and she was already like a world champion. She was already on the team and she was part of like bringing me up on the pro team. Like she talked to the managers about me. And I mean, of course, like it's not just her, but honestly, like she played a big role in me having my first pro contract. So was it something similar with you and Christine, or was it just like a coincidence that you ended up on the same team?
From what I know, it was just kind of a coincidence. Because I signed my contract super late in the year, and I know I got in the team because they were looking for a cross rider, and I was the only one who didn't have any contract yet for the following year. So that's, at least from what I know or what I've been told from the management, that's how I got into it. But then ended up being teammates with her.
Okay. And what I was also wondering is, this season on the national championships, you beat her in her last year. Did that give any special feeling for you, or how was it for you?
It was strange. I have to say already before the race, because it's like we have like 6 people racing nationals, so it's not really a big race, and then you cannot really do that much of team tactics. And I think for us in nationals, it doesn't matter that much if we're teammates. It's a bit everyone for themselves. Obviously, I wanted to win. She wanted to win. We had another girl who was third. She also wanted to win. So it was a bit everyone against everyone. And we ended up in the group, the 3 of us together. And I was expecting them to attack, but they didn't. So we went to a sprint. And I was like, if we go to a sprint, then I have pretty good chances. So then in the end I beat her, and it was strange because obviously I was super happy because it was it's for me something really big to become national champion, even if it's just from Luxembourg kind of. But I
you
also
wear your jersey, your flag the whole year, so of course it's
super
big.
nice. And I also knew she wanted to win, so afterwards I was like, what do I say now? Because I feel like I kind of stole the jersey, but also, it's a race, it's not like the jersey did belong to her for so many years, but also it's not hers, like I still gonna race, like, cause I'm a competitor. So it was a bit strange, but I think there was no hard feelings. I mean, we were there everyone was there to race for the win.
I think in a way, it's like kind of, it's like passing the baton,
Yeah,
like
that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, and it's, when I was on Cliff, like on that pro team, my teammate, like Katarina Nash was my teammate, and we used to race together always because we're on the same team, so we would travel to the same races, and a lot of time I finished second to her, and like I could never beat her. I was just always like Sometimes like at first by a minute, then 30 seconds, then 15 seconds, then like by a sprint. Like she would always beat me, and I was like getting annoyed. I was like, man, I'm never going to get her. And at some point she told me, she's like, I'm never going to give it to you. Like when you beat me, it's because you beat me. And eventually I beat her at the Iowa World Cup, and I won the World Cup, and she got second, and I beat her by like 5 seconds. And in the end, like we both cried, on the finish line. And I think she was super proud and super happy that I beat her in a way. Like, not happy, but just like, it was kind of a way like, okay, now, like, you did it. And so I'm sure, like, from Christine, of course,
it's a boundary.
A little bit. Yeah, you have like your own disappointment of maybe not winning, but at the same time, it's part of the sport to kind of pass the baton and see like the other generation take over. So I'm sure in some part of her heart she had some pride, and then when she sees you doing so well on the world World Cups and stuff, I'm sure she does feel some pride that like the Luxembourg jersey is still very well represented in you, So I know it's like always a weird situation, but at the same time, like it is something special. Like, and I think this is something that is unique to sports in a way.
It's absolutely true. And it's also something that always keep going, because you're also going to inspire now people. So you come in the same position at one point, probably.
Yeah, I think also for her, I don't know for sure, but I think it's nice, because she was going to retire at the end of the year, to see if someone kind of taking over. Like, I don't want to say I'm going to be the same as her, but it's nice to see.
No, but there's a new talent.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I think even for her, because even for me, it's nice to know, like, okay, Christine is not there anymore, but we have a couple of girls now. Like, we keep on representing the country, and we're there, which is nice for everyone, actually.
Yes, it also showed, like, it's also how I know her, like, working really hard to promote her sport and her country. And by having you and the other riders who are also slowly coming there, it shows that also delivered something. So she didn't put energy in it for nothing. And that's really nice to see, and hopefully it inspires more people to do that this way.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we didn't really, you mentioned already a little bit how young you was racing, but we didn't really talk how you got into it. And for what I could find on the internet, you raced as a junior, a few international cyclocross races, maybe not so much on the road. That's not really what I could find. And then after the World Championships in juniors, you went to Tormans cyclocross team. So what was the journey towards there?
Well, yeah, as a junior, I started to race. Until then, I only raced basically in Luxembourg. I did a couple of smaller races on the road, also like internationally. But yeah, under 17, that's, baby category still. And then I did cross races here in Luxembourg as a junior, even before. And I realized I was really, because we were racing the same ways with the boys, and I was competing with the boys. And I was like, I'm not that bad. And then I think it was the cross race, the UCI one here in Luxembourg in October, where one of the guys from Tormans, he was there, and he kind of spotted me, because I think I was first year junior and I ended up 7th or something.
Was it Concern?
Yes, exactly. And that's how the contact with Tormans came up. So as a junior, the first 2 years, I raced there in Akroc Tormans, it was called, and then I kind of progressed.
So as a junior, you also raced already with them?
Yeah, but then the smaller team, which was basically just a club team. So I changed clubs kind of. And then once I got under 23 in cross, I went to their like pro cross team. And yeah, on the road, it was also during COVID and everything. So there was not really many races that I could do. So I was really relying on the cross. And ever since I got into that team, I really started to make big progressions, because I was training with the boy. I was training with people like Quinten Hermans and Connie van Kessel and this. So that was really nice, as a small girl coming into it. And I was teammates with Zoe Baxter also. So we had, the two girls, we were also pushing each other, because if you're alone with just boys, it's also a bit harder. But yeah, we had a really nice team there also with Bart Wellens as a coach. So I really made a lot of progression there. And then, it was, just step by step on the road. I never really got to do much because, COVID. And then I was in my final year of high school. And then it was in 22. Then, I got the contract from SD Worx. And because I also wanted to go a bit on the road, and I didn't have anything for the year after.
So how did I have a question about it? Sorry that I interrupt you. So you did more cyclocross races, and you started to do already better and better, like you said. It was also visible, and then SD Worx reached out to you. Before that, did you already really wanted to step also more to the road? Because I guess when they came to you, they not said like, oh, we only take you for the cross. They also had some ideas on the road, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I always wanted to also do road, but with COVID, it really messed everything up actually, because before I did always smaller races, but we never got to do Nations Cup because I was like the only rider. So I mainly did like Europeans and Worlds. And they're also on the road. I wasn't that bad. Like, I was maybe not winning, but I remember my first Europeans, I was seventh as a junior. So I was not that bad. And then, all these things came. But I always was like, once I'm done with school, because I finished high school in 22, it's like I want to also go on the road because, then it's more possible. And then as the UX came, like before I didn't have anything for the year after. Also, my contract with Tormans was expiring, and I was like, shit, now I'm done with school and I don't have anything for the next year. And then suddenly in like November, SD Worx came and they were like, we want the cross rider, but obviously, if you sign for the best World Tour team on the road, it's like, okay, I'm also going to have to do road now. But since I always wanted to do that, for me, it was not like I had to, I don't know, make sacrifices or anything. For me, it was just a general or like a normal progression kind of thing, what had to come next after everything that's been before. So for me it was, I think back actually now, perfect, because if I would have been in a pure cross team, you would have had to find also a road team, and then you always need to arrange the two a bit together. And now I'm just in one team where I can do both. And I think for on the roads, I mean, it was the best option. Like, I straight away got into the best team with like so many experienced teammates. So it was just the best way to really learn. And I think I also made quite some steps on the road already, which also again makes me stronger in cross. So thinking back, it was when they reached out to me, I was like, why do you guys want me? Like, huh? Like, I'm not really like, I've done road races, but not in international bunch. Like, I have no experience at all. Like, I'm good at cross, but like, you guys are the best team. Why you want me? So it was a bit unbelievable at the beginning, but I settled in quite well, I think. And from then on, I think I made a lot of steps, and I hope it also continues like this.
Yeah, cool. I mean, I bet they saw the potential, when they see the strength in a rider. And like, I think cyclocross shows that, like, it shows your strength, it shows your mental ability, your physical ability, your tactical and your technical ability. So I think once they see the potential there, like the specificities of the road, you can learn like anything else, but you have the core of what it takes, and they saw it. They were right, it looks like.
I think you almost come to a place where it's even hard to start to choose where you want to be good at. I mean, you did well in climbing, your time trial is really good, cyclocross, you're explosive, so you can finish a race. It's going to be a hard choice.
Yeah,
but it's going to be fun for us to watch.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah, for now, I want to keep a bit my focus on the cross. Like, I want to do also at some point big road races, but I'm still so young on the road. Like, I need to get so much more experience. So at some point, I really want to do races like Flanders and all of this. But I'm like taking my time on the road. On cross, it's like my main focus, and I still kind of take the road season as preparation towards like the cross. But I think maybe in the next 5 years it's gonna switch a little bit. Maybe that I'll do less cross races, you know. But for sure, I always want to keep on doing cross because it's like, yeah, it's how I kind of turned pro, and you know, it's actually what I love the most. Like, I do enjoy the road, but always, I mean, there's nothing better than cross for me.
Your heart is
Would you
there.
say
Exactly.
would you say you have the cyclocross fever?
I have. I definitely have.
Join the club.
Yeah,
But yeah,
awesome.
it'll probably switch at some point. Or I mean, with the more experience I get, I'll probably get better on the road, and then I'll just see how I can combine both and what my seasons are gonna look like. But it's interesting because yeah, it's a bit, you know, a bit of everything. Doesn't get boring. It's nice.
Okay, Mary, we've taken already some of your time, and we appreciate that. We have some rapid fire questions that we'd like to ask you to get to know you. So, like,
Okay.
quick, like, what the first thing that comes to mind?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay. How many languages do you speak, and which ones are they?
4 Luxembourgish, German, French, English, and I understand Dutch.
Wow. Oh my God.
Dangerous.
Okay. If you could see one music concert for free, which one would it be?
I mean Queen, but that doesn't really work anymore now. So I wish I
It
was
works, it
born
works.
30 years back. And
I love it. I love it. One country you would like to visit and why? Or one country maybe you want to ride in, whatever.
South Africa, like
Yeah.
on the mountain bike, South Africa.
Good choice.
Cool. Good choice, yeah. If you were not a cyclist, what would you be?
A pilot.
A pilot.
Like
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I never grew up wanting to be a pro. It just kind of came to me. I always was thinking about what am I going to do as a job. And since I was like 14, I was really captivated by being a pilot.
So
And
cool.
still I'm thinking maybe after my cycling career, I'm going to do it. So yeah, pilot. I love flying.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Yeah, like it's gonna be a good way to keep your adrenaline level high, and no, it's true though. It's like, yeah, I feel like that might be like one hard thing about retiring is maybe you miss kind of the adrenaline from the races, and I don't know, like plane seems like it would
Yeah.
bring that up. I don't know.
It's a lot to think about, at least there. A lot of responsibility.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But I think I'd be good at it actually.
Cool. What is your favorite thing about Luxembourg that people should know about the country?
The roads and landscape, everything. We have the best roads, like the pavement. It's a dream to ride on. And
Really?
it's just super nice. Yeah, the north is just super nice. Like to train on, for me, it's one of the best places. And I think it's
Okay, so
underrated because people don't know about it.
So underrated cycling destination, Luxembourg.
Yes.
Amazing. Okay. Thank you. That was it.
I have to agree. Like, I have raced many years on the road there, and I really loved it there.
It's
really
Jacobs
nice.
you've done, no?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so always people say, yeah, I've been on that way, it seems super nice. And then like, but that's kind of in the south. Wait till you get
That's
to
not
the
even
north.
nice. Okay.
So like, I live in like northwest. I live
Yeah.
actually close to the Belgian border. And from where I live, if you go up north, the region is super. It's a bit up and down like the Ardennes,
Hmm.
but it's nicer. It's
A bit more kind to you, to the legs.
yeah, and also the land, like everything is a lot more clean, and you know, Belgium is a
But
bit.
to be
it's-
honest, that's not so difficult with Wallonie, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to. You know, it's
You
a
can
bit
say
rough.
that,
It's
don't
like-
worry.
Yeah, it's like the roads are shit, and it feels kind of random to me, Belgium. Like here, you see straight away when you get over the border, maybe the landscape, everything's the same, but you just see it's Belgium.
Yeah.
And Luxembourg is like, yeah, we're a wealthy country. It's super clean, and the roads are nice and everything. And up north is not so much traffic, and it's super nice roads. And I get a lot of people, they come, and you know, I'm super convinced about my country. I love Luxembourg, and I always try to get people to come here. And then they do a while, and then they're like, actually, it's so nice. I was like, yeah, I told you.
Yeah, I love it. You know what? I will tell you, my favorite World Championships was the one they had in
Oh,
Bielis.
yeah.
It was so cool. They
That
did
was
such
really
a good
cool.
job. Like, everything about it was cool, and I remember spending the week there with Katerina and Eva Lechner. Like, I mean, kind of a few days before. And we did some rides. Like, it was snowy, but we did some rides that were so cool. Like, one of the rides I remember, we got into, like, kind of little dirt roads, but that was full of snow. We did, like, such a fun... Like, I remember this ride my whole life. And so I also... Luxembourg also has a special place in
Shout
my
out to
heart.
Luxembourg.
But I'm
Yes.
surprised you say you like that word, because I heard quite a lot of people say like, "Oh, it was shit because of the conditions
Yeah,
and all of."
but that was the
For the
conditions. But
Yeah,
you know, but we had different conditions. It was
Yeah.
my first World Championships, and for me,
too.
like I did way better than expected, and also the time after was fantastic. So not on the bike part, and
I was
yeah.
there to watch. It was a good race. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
It was
15.
cool.
It was a really big thing
Yeah.
to have words at
Yeah,
home.
of course
we
it's
were
a big
allowed
thing.
to, even I think on the Friday already, we were allowed to not go to school, so we could go,
Oh.
like, yeah, from the cyclists, we could go
Oh.
train on the course, so I was also riding the course. Yeah, it was a
Oh,
super
that's a
big
great
event.
experience.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was really nice. Like the off-camber section is a really tricky one. Yeah, because also my
Yeah.
brother was still racing at the time, and he was junior competing in the world also. I remember with the national team, we were training there, and I think everyone crashed, everyone broke something on their bike, but it was just really nice. And yeah,
it
good
was
race
it
to
was
watch
an epic
also.
one, and yeah, good memories for me there. It was super cool. Okay, Mary, we also have a section here that we like to ask our guests if they have a insight, a pro insight that they can share to our audience. And, I don't know if you have any advice you would like to share. It can be about anything, it could be about how to start well. It could be about, following your dreams. Whatever type of advice you may have, we're wondering if you want to share one with us.
Yeah, what I always say is don't take it too seriously and have fun, and also don't let it be the only thing you do. Like, for me, cycling is a really big part of my life, and it's my job, and I take it super seriously. But it's like I also have a life apart from that, and I feel like that's, even growing up, it's really important that you kind of have a plan B, that you take the cycling more as you're just playing, and then when you get older, then you take it more seriously. But I think it's super important not to focus too much on it, because in the end, it's such a risky thing, and you never know if it's going to work. And it's good, I think, for the head to have like a kind of a plan B, and you have something to do apart from riding your bike, because it can be so stressful and everything. And for me, the mental thing is such a big part. And if you're generally happy, then even if you feel shit on the bike, it helps if you feel, apart from the bike, if you feel good. And I think if you have kind of something else next to cycling growing up, it makes everything easier. And also, once you're a pro, it's nicer to kind of, have a life apart from that, because you can just decompress a bit and, not think about it too much. So, I think just make it like, once it is serious, make it like super important, but always remember that it's not the only thing in your life, and also it can be over like this. Like, no one really wants to say it, or you don't want to think about it, but from one day to the other, it can be over.
Yeah.
And it's, for me, it's so good if you have then something else to move on to. Like, because personally, I have, like, if I would have to stop for some reason, I don't know, I would know what I would do tomorrow, for example. Doesn't mean I'm not emotionally attached to anything like this, so it would be super hard. But it's just, I can take satisfaction from other things in my life apart from cycling. And I think that's super important, because, it's such a risky thing, and you don't know what's going to happen. And, you don't want to be depressed the whole of your life just because this thing didn't work out. Like, you can be sad, but you still kind of need to move on. And if you have this, I think it makes everything easier from the start.
I love it.
What a wise words, Mary.
And you're only, what, 21?
Yeah, 21.
Yeah.
But then I
What a
am
wise woman.
super interesting now. Like, so when you need to switch off your mind and you're totally done with cycling for a moment because the focus is sometimes hard, you need to recharge, what you're going to do?
I grew up on a farm. My dad's a farmer, so I just go out and help. For me, it's pretty easy. Yeah, I have
With
so
the
much things I
animals
can.
or?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have
what type of
cows.
farming?
Yeah,
Okay,
we have
cool.
cows, so we do milk. So if I wanna, really take my mind off, I go there. Like I always have things to do. Like yeah, because we're farmers, and we also do like alcoholic drinks. The super.
Oh.
So I can go and help there, and there's so much things to do, and we also do wood, so I can go into the forest and cut some wood and all of this. Um, so I'm really like a town, like a
Outdoor
farm
person.
girl. Yes, exactly. And
Wow.
I
Cool.
have
What type of alcoholic drinks you guys make?
How strong?
like 40%, like schnapps. I don't know how you say it in English.
Okay.
Yeah, from like all kind of flavors. So the strong things, but it's nice because you take the fruit like apples or whatever, and like it's a whole process to do this, which is also
So
nice.
cool.
And growing up, I used to be on the farm the whole time, like playing in the mud or playing with the cows or in the forest and things like this. So yeah, like you say, I'm an outdoor person, and if I really want to take my mind off the cycling, then I do this. And for me, it's pretty easy to like just whatever I do, it kind of takes my mind off. Like I don't know, I do some crosswords or whatever, like even boring stuff. But yeah, I find it quite easy not to think about it too much when I don't need to.
Yeah, that's super cool. Wow. I mean, I'm so glad we got to know you a little bit more. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for taking the
so
time.
many.
Honestly, it's
I
been
mean,
so
I can
fun.
keep going. I have to be
Of
honest,
course.
but
I'm like, I want to keep going, but I'm looking at the time and I'm
No,
like, well,
no.
we told her an hour, so.
yes.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
for sharing all that, Mary. Honestly, like it's so fun to get to know you more, and I hope that that allows us to chat more when we see each other at the races. It's been it's been super fun.
Yeah. So let's, I think, have a quick look to what's coming or not.
Yeah. Let's do it. Actually,
Yeah.
I watched a video. We do our little research, and I watched a video where you say that your favorite World Cup is Hulst, right?
Yes.
Is that still true? Yeah.
Yes, that is still
So-
true. I'm super excited.
Okay. Why Hulst? Why is that one of your favorite? What makes it special?
Because in my eyes, it has a bit of everything. It's technical, but you also can push and all these up and down and these sections. And I like the, steep uphill running, all of these things. And it has this wall in. So some people are like, well, what the fuck? And I'm like, this is nice. Let's do it. And yeah, it has a bit of everything. Like, I like the technical courses. And it's super flowy and just, I don't really know why, but I just like it. And
I think I know why.
Yeah?
It's
a fun
also
one.
super punchy. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's also, I think it suits me. So then obviously then you also like it more if you can do well on it. I think I've done it 2 or 3 times in the past, so not that many times, but it's just a super fun course. And I used to, like, people ask me, what's your favorite course? And then you think a bit, and I'm like, actually, if I think, it really is Holst, because it has everything. And even if I don't necessarily do that well, just I enjoy riding the course. Like, I don't care about how well I do in the race. If I enjoy it, then it's nice. Even if I have a bad day or whatever, it's a nice course, you enjoy it no matter how good or bad you are.
Yeah.
So, ready for Hulst, a Kickstarter. First corner, Mary, we can ride it on.
Yeah, I
Right?
need to. If I don't miss my pedal, you could count on me to go first into the first corner. That's one thing you can always count on. I have a good start, no matter
I
what
will
happens
search.
afterwards.
I will search for your rear wheel some moment.
You know what, Mary? When I'm called on the second row, I always try to find your wheel. So I always
think
try
a
to
lot of
line up
people
behind
do.
because I do trust you. I'm like, this one you can trust.
That's nice, actually.
Yeah. So yeah, double weekend. Hulst and Zonhoven. You guys doing both? Both of you doing both races?
Yeah. Yeah, Zonhoven is a totally different story. How are you with descent?
I'd say I'm quite okay. I have a bit of bad memories from last year there because I had a shit day and I crashed and I had a DNF and everything. But it's a
Sounds
fun race.
familiar.
Yeah,
It's
Lucinda too,
oh
right?
yeah,
That's
I
where you
remember
broke
your
your nose.
crash. But you were going well until that point. I was
Till
kind of
till
like,
that point, but I also ended DNF, so
yeah, I was kind of after my crash. I was like, oh, and if I finish 20th or DNF at the end, doesn't make that much of a difference. But no, it's a fun call. I think it's really if you have a shit day, it's gonna be a pain. But if you
Mm-hmm.
feel good, and then it can be super nice. Obviously hard, but it's so iconic, and I'm hoping for like tons of people as we dive into the sun thing. And I already have stress because I'm like first lap. If I go there first, I don't want to crash. So I'm already
You know
now
what though?
nervous.
It's like it's one of those where the start makes a big difference. If you can have like being first there in the first shoot, like it makes a big difference because if you're not,
you could
I mean,
take the line
someone
from
will
the
crash.
man.
Yeah,
Exactly, you're sure that someone will crash it. So if you're at the back, like you have to be ready for it. So I think your
but I'm
strategy should
also
be
more
good there.
nervous because everyone knows in that race you want to be first into the sandpit. Like
Yeah.
everyone tries to have a good start. So then I really need to push if I want to. So then I'm like, because I'm like I have a good start even, and I don't really think about it. But then if I say I really need to have a good start,
Hmm.
then it's a bit of pressure, and then I'm a bit scared of making a mistake. But no, I think even if you're not first there, as long as if you're up there, it'll be fine. And I think now I'm strong enough to. I say even if I make a mistake, I can kind of come back, in the first lap. Like I'm there now, so I'm a bit more confident going into the whole thing.
That's good.
Awesome. Cool.
Keep
Well,
an eye on
I'll
you.
be I'll be cheering for you guys from the trainer. I'll be watching those races. So, good luck to both of you. People, make sure you watch those two World Cups. I mean, this is the start of the curse period, really. So from now on, like it's gonna be busy for you guys racing.
Extremely.
Extremely busy. Um, Actually, Mary, are you doing most of the races? Just so people know where to watch you next. Like, are you doing most of the curse period, or mostly focusing on the World Cups?
I am only doing World Cups, so not
Okay,
that
perfect.
much actually. Yeah,
Cool. Cool.
That's balanced.
yeah.
Yeah.
Try not to do
Yeah.
too much.
No, that's good.
I also try that always, but it doesn't work out with me.
Yeah, I mean it's a bit of a shame. There's some really nice races that I would want to do, but yeah, I'm focusing a bit on the World Cup, and I want to do well there. And I'm like, I cannot
Yeah,
race every day. Like I would like to
that's
actually get all
smart.
the races. I was doubting if I'm gonna do Digue or not, but then I was like,
Mm.
it's. I think it's the day after Besançon, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's in
It's
the
the day
evening.
after.
But I was like, with
you
travel
have
and
time.
everything, and yeah,
You
you
can
have,
drive
but
to it.
yeah, but now I have different plans because then I
Oh,
I started. Then I said, okay, now I'm only gonna do the World Cups. So now after Besançon, I do a week at my friend's place to also get my mind a bit on things for the
that's really
Ah,
nice.
good for
last part
you.
of the season.
Yeah. Cool.
Good
Well,
prep.
I mean, good luck to you both. Enjoy the Here's period. I'll one day I'll show up again. um, in the meantime, people, thank you so much for listening. Mary, thank you for sharing all this with me. Lucinda and I will take a break from the podcast during the Cares period. It will be a busy week of racing and also, maybe sometime in the family for Christmas. So we will be back with you guys with many stories, many new guests, many racing anecdotes in the new year. So on that note, we would like to say thank you all for listening. We want to wish everybody happy holidays, have fun watching all the cross races. And thank you again to Whoop for allowing us to present you these stories through this podcast. So if you like what you hear, please make sure to subscribe on Spotify, on YouTube, wherever you listen to the podcast. Find Dirty Talks. And yeah, thank you everybody for listening, and we'll catch you in the new year.